Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 242 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 50. Well, not anymore. We're not live on the Area 51 Sports Network Twitter or our YouTube channel. There's some technical stuff, so we're just audio for now. Hopefully, I get this uploaded on our YouTube channel, but we'll figure it out. Some growing pains, but. To get to the point, we are no longer with the Area 51 Sports Network. No animosity. No, we didn't have beef or anything. Thank you to James Tomlin for all of his service past few years. And, of course, Sean Warren for bringing us and founding Area 51 Sports Network. We are now with Sparks Podcast Network, which is a subdivision of, you might have heard of this network, the Hockey Podcast Network, which has some big hockey podcasts. So Sparks Podcast Network is everything but else, like other sports, lifestyle, entertainment, you name it.
Pretty much anything.
So this is a growing network, and thank you to Kyle and Dylan for bringing us on. We're still trying to figure out everything because a new network means new changes. I don't know how live streams are going to work in the future. Oops, sorry. So I think this is a new venture for us and a new era. So we're part of the Sparks Podcast Network.
It's something that Josh and I have had in the work for a few weeks. Finally happy to be able to announce it. Like Josh said, we're very, very happy to have been a part of Area 51 Sports Network, and our writing will still appear.
Yes.
With Area 51. We're not leaving entirely. We're still going to be writing everything that we do on the Area 51 Sports Network. It's just that the podcast will be somewhat different.
Yeah. And we're staying with Area 51 Sports Network for writers, as Nathan said. And that's part of the reason why we didn't have a show last week. Nathan was on vacation. We were working on this behind the scenes. I couldn't find a co-host. I did not want to do it alone. So we're back. We're here to talk all things footy. And let's get into it, starting with the Vancouver Whitecaps. So they're back in MLS play. We had a 4-3 loss last night at TQ Stadium to FC Cincinnati. Rust, yeah, but it was a pretty wild game in general.
You know what? It wasn't I was going to say it wasn't a bad game, but there were areas where I think the rust showed more than other areas. I think
for both teams, yeah.
Yeah, I think adding Ryan Gauld back to the lineup, his first game actually starting in MLS in 501 days. So just put that into context, right? And I thought he played a phenomenal match. Had a brace, one goal, not necessarily anything he created. In hockey, we would call it the Ryan Smith goal because it doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to go in the net. But the other goal definitely worthy of the returning captain, and definitely I think was a crowning moment of his night back. Defensively, this team had some issues, and not a player I normally point out, but I do have to point out Tate Johnson.
Yeah.
I really like Tate Johnson. We know that he's young. We know that there's going to be mistakes. But in letting his man, Pavel Bucha, get by him or not seeing him come in on the far side, hurt on a number of occasions and actually directly led to 2 goals.
Yeah. Should also mention that I had a feeling this game would go like this because both teams were rusty after the World Cup break and both teams know how to score.
And both
Cincinnati and Vancouver were second and third in goals. And, of course, Cincinnati has, Evander and Kevin Denke, one of the best duos in the league.
I will say I think Evander played a phenomenal game. I think there could have been more effort to mitigate his goal. It was a good shot. It was a clean shot. It was from outside the box. No one was blocking Yohei. I think that's one that he may want back.
Probably.
The other 3, I get it. Those are tough. But this is one where I felt there could have been something there.
Yeah, like on the Buka goals, he was wide open on that right side.
Yeah,
No one was marking it.
Nothing you could do about that. That was a defensive error, not goalkeeping error.
Yeah, and then the Denki goal, just unfortunate. Goes off Denki's head, and then Johnson accidentally deflects it into his own net.
And again, I don't put any blame on Johnson for that one. There's not a whole lot he could do. The ball was headed with power down into him. There's nowhere he could move. It just, and you know what? You can even go back. Well, wasn't the goal that was just before that? That was the Ryan Smith goal off his butt.
Yeah, went off Gald's foot, the post, and off Roman Celentano and in the net. So deflection works one way, it goes against the Whitecaps the other way. Mm-hmm. But early in the game, Bruno Caicedo missed almost a partial breakaway chance. Since the World Cup break, he's kind of been wasteful with the opportunities he's created, but he did get the assist on the first goal where he found Jeevan Badwal in behind Gideon Miazga, and then Badwal tied the game.
You know what? I take a look at that play by Caicedo, and yes, he was kind of on a partial breakaway. It was a bit of an angle to the shot, and Celentano came out very far to cut down the angle. I agree with you. Caicedo could have done maybe a bit better, used his speed to get around the keeper, open up the shot a bit more, but I'm not too worried about that. Also, his ability to throw crosses into the box directly led to the first Gald goal. His cutback to Badwal shot, which deflected off Gald. And that was just a number of dangerous crosses before Caicedo unfortunately had to be taken off injured in the 44th minute. He had even that one cross that he did to Badwal, I think was probably about his third dangerous one at that point in the game. And that goal came early. Or sorry, I should say Badwal's goal in the 12th minute. That one actually was Badwal's. It was a wide open shot. So, you know what? If you have a good game and there's only one questionable play in a good game, I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, I think he got better as the game went on, but obviously Jesper Sorensen subbed him out for Czech Sabali before halftime. And the midfield, Oliver Larraz was in for Sebastian Berhalter. More on Sebastian Berhalter later, to be paired with Andres Kubis. Larraz did get the assist on one of Gald's goals, I believe.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, he and Kubis didn't have the best game defensively, where they were getting sliced apart on the FC Cincinnati counterattacks, because both teams were just relying on the counterattacks pretty much throughout the game. And the Whitecaps back line just, had an off day.
You know what? I like Larraz.
I do too, yeah.
I like the ambition and the effort he brings. I feel he is a little bit sometimes reckless.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of it is just that I don't know if he feels that he has so much to prove, or he needs to do more than he actually needs to do. But I look at him as a bit of a project player. He is one of those guys that came in on a free transfer. I mean, why not? Take a punt, see what happens. And I think, you can argue the Whitecaps have gotten more than the return back for him, especially because he was free. I think he's one of those guys that is quality depth right now, not a starter, but give it a year, give it 2 years, he may surprise you.
Yeah. Brian White, also quiet. Wasn't getting a lot of service, though when he did, it didn't really threaten Celentano too much. He did get booked for some reason. And it just felt like that, it's one of those games where when you need a goal, the Whitecaps couldn't get it in that second half. They were moving the ball well, and Gondo and Larraz were stopped by Celentano when they shot it from outside the box, but White wasn't getting his head on the crosses.
In Gondo,
he did look good off the bench, yeah.
He surprised me. He's not a guy that he's frustrated me over the past quite a while. And don't get me wrong, he does not get a lot of time on the pitch. But I thought when he came on for Gald and he kind of slotted into that number 10, which is a bit more kind of where he's the most comfortable in playing. I thought he did quite well. We also have to remember it came very close with Laborda putting a ball off the crossbar ahead of effort. One of the things that really hurt the Whitecaps very early on is having both of their center backs on yellows very early in the game. Completely changed how they were, their ability to defend. And I think that's one of the things that really hurt them for a vast portion of the game. I do think that the referee was a little...
The Ocampo yellow, I still don't get what he got booked for.
I thought he was a little harsh in some of the yellows.
Same with the Brian White one. I can't remember what he was booked for either.
I remember him getting it. I'm trying to remember actually what the one was for. I can't. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a few in there that I found a little questionable.
Yeah, you could also argue as for swords and subs were questionable. Maybe not the Ngondo one, because he actually did pretty well.
You know what? But... Ngondo looked good coming in. Djordjevic on the right-hand side. Wow. The number of touches he had on the ball, the number of balls he put into the ball. When he came on, I think no other player on the pitch had more touches on the ball than Djordjevic.
Yeah, well, he was losing it.
No. I would disagree with you. I think he did very, very good in getting around his defender and putting in some of those dangerous crosses. Look at how dangerous the Whitecaps were in that final 15 minutes. A lot of that was because of him.
Yeah, and also, he had Thomas Muller on the bench. Didn't attend the presser, but it didn't seem Muller was dealing with any injury. He was just in New Jersey doing punditry for the World Cup final.
Yeah. We know that he's starting in the game coming up. We know that he was supposed to start the game in Chicago to have the kind of Bayern Munich reunion between him and Lewandowski. Yeah. Didn't happen. I think this was always the plan, not to have him play, but this is a game where it probably called for him. I know they decided to go with Ngondo instead. I don't know, maybe... I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a hindsight.
Yeah, and taking then apparently Badwall dealt with a minor issue, and Gauld was obviously subbed off for he's not fully 100% yet.
The fact that he's playing more than 45 is phenomenal. He
did well.
Just over an hour, which is great at this point. The fact that you can play 2/3 of the game, phenomenal.
Yeah, and Gauld's close to 90 minutes. It looks like it's like he's back to his his usual self. I was wondering, would we still see the same Ryan Gauld before his injury? We are seeing it.
Yeah, and even before the goal, he was making Cincinnati uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. And how much did Gauld play? 60, 70 minutes? That's actually 62. Not that bad. Yeah. Yeah, 63.
This is only the Whitecaps' third loss of the season. Something else to take into context. It feels like you said, legitimately rust on both sides, but you now expect them to bounce back because they haven't lost 2 in a row, going back to well into last season. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Onto Minnesota, right?
Yeah, let's hope this is just a blip, just rust, and not the start of a bad trend. So, yeah, it is off to Minnesota this Saturday. And Minnesota United without James Rodriguez anymore since he has left the club before the World Cup.
You know what? Even when he was there, they were without James Rodriguez. So
yeah, and he barely did anything anyway. Minnesota lost 2-1 away to Sporting Kansas City last night.
Ooh.
Sporting Kansas City. One of the worst teams in
they're in the basement. So
they are 9th in the Western Conference with a 6-4-6 record, 22 points, and the out of town scoreboard did help the Whitecaps, as they are still first in the Western Conference, but ahead on goal differential.
Yeah. You know what? They're going to have a lot of time to get back on. Games are going to be coming in fast and furious with the break. August also is going to be broken up a little bit with Leagues Cup action. So, yeah, if you want your fill of domestic football rather than international football, it's coming.
Yeah. Minnesota United, just taking a look at their team. Obviously, they lost Dane Sinclair in the offseason. Drake Callender's now their goalkeeper. We also know about former Whitecap Michael Boxall, the veteran Will Trapp, Kevin Yeboah up top.
Will Trapp is one of those players that I'm pretty sure has played for 48 years. Like, yeah, seriously. Like, it's like I can't remember a time in MLS when he wasn't a part of it.
It feels like Trapp was part of it since the beginning.
Exactly, right?
These two teams last met at BC Place, I believe, last April, where the Whitecaps won 6-0, and James Rodriguez came off the bench. Obviously, don't expect that result.
No.
Because the Whitecaps will be in St. Paul and will be facing a Minnesota United side that will look to bounce back after losing to the Sporting Kansas City.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and, it's good, refresher for the Whitecaps from last night against Cincinnati. Like, get back to basics, get back to fundamentals. The defense obviously needed to be better. Probably think Ryan Gaul gets another start, given how good he was against Cincinnati.
I did have a surprise that Ranko Veselinovic didn't start. I mean, I know out of this, he's the one coming back from injury, and Laborda and Blackman have played most of this entire season together. But Veselinovic is, for me, again, another one of those guys is that when he's healthy, he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, I think he'd start on Saturday.
100%. Let's say 98%.
With Blackman.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how Bruno gets another start. Badwell, I don't usually like him on the wing, but he did well.
He did very well
on the wing.
He did
so I think
well.
He'll get another start.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if Thomas Muller starts or just comes off the bench.
I believe he'll start. I think, like I said, I'm pretty sure that was always the plan, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and so the post-Sebastian Berhalter era is now upon us because Tom Boger reported this morning that he is off to Middlesbrough. I've heard rumblings like as late as last night that he was going to Middlesbrough.
But we've heard rumblings as far back as 8 months ago.
Yeah. So felt inevitable. Obviously sucks to lose Sebastian Berhalter because he was playing at an MLS MVP pace.
Yeah.
But $2 million is better than losing him on a free in 5 months. Obviously, it would have been better to do the extend and sell like what they did with Pedrovite last year.
Yeah.
But $2 million is better than nothing.
$2 million for a guy with 5 months left in his contract is not bad at all, especially when he only cost you $50K in GAM when you brought him into the club in the first place. You can't fault the business that the Whitecaps have done. You can't fault the development of the player that has been done. And you can't say that Berhalter does not deserve this move.
Oh, he does.
Middlesbrough is a side that finished 5th in the championship last year. They were in the playoff push for that final spot in the Premier League. Did not make it. He also joined some pretty good company with Middlesbrough. He's going to join his international teammate, Aidan Morris, who is there.
Columbus teammate.
And Canadian international, Alfie Jones.
Yeah.
Plays for Middlesbrough.
Yeah,
and from my own personal side, Tottenham just recently sold Will Lancashire, who is with Middlesbrough again. So this Middlesbrough team right now is being built to make another push. And my guess is that they don't want to be in the playoff. They want one of those top 2 automatic spots. Yeah. And they're going to be a team that is going to be fighting. Berhalter is a player that he's going to have to prove himself like anyone else coming in brand new. But he's going to be given a legitimate shot to be a starting midfielder on this team.
Yeah, kind of like what Ali Ahmed was for his move to Norwich.
That's the other thing I was thinking is I can't wait to watch a Middlesbrough-Norwich game.
Yeah, Ahmed versus Berhalter in the championship. Yeah, this is a team that's going to be trying to go for promotion, especially with the talent that they do have. And then Berhalter, with his defensive abilities and his creativity, could do that for them. But for the Whitecaps, it obviously sucks to lose a player of this caliber. You would think they have a list of replacements lined up. I haven't heard anything regarding a particular name. It's just speculation.
You know that they're
targeting.
looking. I will say this. I don't think they're desperate. So you're not going to see someone come in right away. It could be towards the end of the transfer window. This is something that they set up for at the beginning of the season, knowing that this was a very real possibility if they could not get Berhalter signed to a brand new contract.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why Larraz was brought in. Don't get me wrong, Larraz is not full 100% every game starter material yet, but neither was Berhalter when he came in. Berhalter was never supposed to be more than a depth guy, and look what he became. Yeah. You can also argue that the quicker than expected rise of Jivan Badwal, an academy player, and what he's been able to do, also takes the pressure off the Whitecaps from having to do quick business, risky and irrational business, and gets a player in like, what, a week, right? That's not going to happen. I don't expect it to happen. So
you never know.
Wanting to see a name today?
No, it's not happening today.
Not happening.
Be very surprised if it does. Probably.
I would have concerns if it does.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, do the Whitecaps want to open up a DP spot to find a Berhalter replacement, or just bring in someone else that you don't need a DP spot, like maybe another MLS player, maybe someone on a TAM deal. Who knows?
I mean, you had a DP player in that spot for years in Andres Cubas. Yes, you were able to buy him down. You got to remember that they've had other DPs in there before. Remember when they had the whole young DP and they had what was it, Matthias Laba that was in that position?
Yeah. Hey, Pedro Vite was a young DP.
Yeah, the defensive midfielder spot is such an important and I believe underrated role on teams. And you, especially if you're going to be playing with two, you got to get that pairing correct.
Right.
I'm fine if they believe they can find the guy and it costs them a DP spot. I'm fine with that. Especially when you think that their other DPs are attacking-minded players. You bring in a defensive-minded DP, I have no problem with that, so long as it's the right player.
Yeah,
I don't want some aging player that's, looking at this for his last year and a half, 2 years swan song, make some money sort of thing. If you're going to use a DP, get a guy in his prime, 28.
Get someone from the championship or one of the smaller European leagues.
It's going to be a wide net that's being cast. And the thing is that's already been done well in advance. So I'm not too worried about that.
And, given this, how, Quinn Thompson is a big data guy, I'm sure he has like hundreds of players on a list with what the data is.
Well, I mean, that's the joke. There's a list of 600 players for every position, right?
Yeah. Spitballing. People have been saying, why not bring Steven Eustachio? I mean, I love that. Like, could you imagine Eustachio and Cubas? Though Eustachio is more of a deep line playmaker than what Berhalter was. But that would be a dream target. But you have to wonder that after his World Cup, he probably will get more minutes at Porto.
When I hear people say they want to bring in Steven Eustachio, I think for me, that's more name recognition than anything else. And the fact of the affinity towards someone that's so dear and important to our national team. Eustachio and Berhalter are different players.
Yeah.
And Eustachio is on the wrong side of,
He is 30. So he still has years left in him.
He does, but you need someone that's going to be able to run box to box like Berhalter did for 90 minutes and look the exact same in the 85th minute as he did in the 5th minute. I don't know if Eustachio is that guy right
He's not.
Now.
Eustachio is a deep line playmaker.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be much of a problem with Cubas doing all the running, but still. You can't really pin it.
I'm not against Eustachio, but again, even if it's happening, like you said, it would be alone, and it's just a Band-Aid, right? I don't want a Band-Aid. I want the solution.
I don't know if Eustachio would want to leave Porto permanently unless they don't want to use him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Another name that I've seen people spitballing. This is more of a brand name, Leon Goretzka, who is pretty much has left Bayern Munich. And given Thomas Muller's connection with him, I wouldn't be surprised if, Whitecaps inquired. Goretzka is more of a box-to-box central midfielder, has been linked to MLS for a year now, I think. He's a player that would cost a DP spot, only 31, but again, more of a name than like a what do we need type of signing. Though Goretzka does fit the boxes.
He does. He fits actually every box that I have except for one, and again, that's the fact that he's on the wrong side of 30 for me. This is a role that I don't want someone coming in for just a year or 2 years. I want the guy that you're signing, and you expect him to be around for 5. I know that severely limits the players that you can look at. So what I'm looking at could be beyond reasonable expectations. And that's why with the players that you name, I have nothing against them. I think they would be fine additions. I just feel that we're going to be back in the same position next year.
Yeah, I mean, 31 isn't that old, but
it's not, depending on the position. But for, like I said, for the type of work that Berhalter did, unless you're going to change the system a little bit,
which I don't
go a little bit more pragmatic, which I don't think is happening. It's a different mold of player that you need.
Yeah, and they did change the system last year because they signed Thomas Muller, but it wasn't really a major change.
It wasn't.
And really Thomas Muller was an exceptional.
That was also one of those exceptions that nobody in the million years could have thought was going to happen. Even when it did happen, we were still in disbelief. So, you know what? Maybe our expectations have changed now.
Yeah, right. I don't know,
for the caliber of player, our expectations have changed for better or worse.
We'll see over the next few days and weeks if stuff regarding Whitecaps transfer rumors happens. I also wonder if I don't think they need another center back
crazy.
because
don't
they're
get me
good
wrong.
there.
The rumor mill will be going nuts.
Whitecaps are short on wingers now, but that is because Emmanuel Sabi and Kenji Cabrera are out with long-term injuries. I don't know if maybe they look there. I'm not too sure, but it feels like the priority now is a Berhalter replacement.
It does.
All right, so with the Whitecaps, I should also mention that Patrick Johnson and Michael McCall reported that the club has made an offer to run BC Place in a way where they get some revenue from concessions and all that. Michael did report it was something like 20% is what was offered. And I won't say too much, but behind the scenes that it seems like talks have been going well. Michael reported that a local group and an international group is already talking with Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
And Greg Kerfoot and Jeff Malik could stay on as minority investors.
In terms of the stadium operation deal that could be being looked at, right now there's 3 teams in MLS that do not at least co-manage their stadium. Whitecaps being one of them, Chicago being another, and NYCFC being the other. 2 out of 3 of those are in the process of constructing their own stadiums.
New York's getting their new stadium next year.
Yeah, and Chicago just came out with the big plans and shovels in the ground, 6 months ago?
Something like that.
So that leaves the Whitecaps as the only team in MLS that doesn't control their stadium in any shape, form whatsoever. That puts more pressure on this situation and on Pavco and the government and the Whitecaps to make a deal. Now, the fact that the Whitecaps have come out and said, "Look, we want to do this. We want to take on the operational responsibility of this," I think is really, really good. I do have questions on other tenants in the building. What happens to the BC Lions?
Though, from what I've been hearing, it seems like the relationship between the two it's not as hostile as it once was.
No, and I don't think it ever was really all that hostile as had
No,
been
it
previously
wasn't.
reported. My question is are the Lions going to want to step up and say, look, we want a piece of this as well? It's not the same situation as in the United States, where, like, say, Lumen Field, you've got it between the Seahawks and the Sounders, because the Seahawks play more games. CPL doesn't play a whole lot of games at home,
Yeah,
so
play a lot of games
it's
too.
going to be difficult to see how that happens. We do know that the management of the building also means that you get your hand in the pockets of all those other revenue streams, concerts that come in the building, trade.
Boat
to give you an example, you take a look at the team that I follow in England with Tottenham Hotspur. The amount of money that they now make in concerts and the NFL games that they bring to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium versus their old stadium at White Hart Lane, it's the whole reason why they're able to spend $500 million on transfer fees this transfer window, because the revenue that they've brought just from having other things in their building is around 300 million pounds.
Yeah, and we're
also just never had before.
Keep in mind that the MLS is changing the calendar next year, so the Whitecaps and Lions won't overlap
exactly
as much. The Lions will have the summer to themselves.
Yeah, that's why that's not a problem. But I do wonder, like, are the Lions going to be okay with saying, hey, our tenant is just another team, or do we want a piece of that pie?
Yeah, I think that's what's being discussed.
Yeah.
Or has been discussed.
It should be. I hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the Whitecaps. And the other Vancouver team, the Vancouver Rise, 2 straight wins, a 4-2 win over the Calgary Wild, and a 3-0 win over AFC Toronto, both on the road.
Yeah, you know what? This team has started to bounce back a little bit, which is really, really, really good, because they had been falling off the wayside for a little bit. This now leapfrogs the Rise over AFC Toronto in the NSL standings. They're now in 3rd place, which is really good. They were kind of hitting, I think they were in 5th at their lowest. Still work to do. They have gone back and forth between Wolf and McCaslin in net. It seems like McCaslin is now again who's back in the starting. And you know what? I'm happy that Wolf came in when she did. She's a very young goalkeeper. She's a very promising goalkeeper. But McCaslin also just needed a break. The number of games that Morgan McCaslin has played, when you look at last year to this year, I think there was only one other player in the entirety of the league that had as many minutes as McCaslin, and it was another goalkeeper. It's kind of like a relief pitcher, right? You just need someone to give you a break. And you know what? To the credit, Wolf stepped up. She did a competent job. This is a team that still needs a bit of work. I have a big question is I do wonder if this might be Quinn's final season with the Rise. They may be looking at retirement very, very soon.
Yep.
And at this stage in their career, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They might be looking for what's next. What's next? Speaking of players that's looking for what's next, we can talk about Mariah Lee.
Yeah, she has announced that believe the next Rise game will be her last, and she will retire from football and apparently pursue a law degree.
Yeah, 7-year career, expanding multiple leagues, was one of the original members of Vancouver Rise when they started last year. A striker that has, especially since Latifa Abdu has come into the club, has definitely lost that starting position. I would say a little bit unfortunate. I think Mariah Lee is a quality player, and if she was not able to find a home with the Rise, I believe could have been a very strong piece in another NSL team. But it seems like she has a very strong plan for what's going to be going on in her future, and all the best to her.
Yeah, all the best to her. She's going to attend New York University.
Yeah.
Pursuing public interest law. I guess her heart is set on becoming a lawyer or something.
The one thing that this does is it opens up an international roster spot for the Rise. So expect that they will be looking on how they can fill that and make that work for the club. I will be at the game this weekend to see her final game. So I will be reporting on that as well as the Whitecaps game later on that night.
Yeah. I unfortunately won't be there. I'm busy this weekend. But yeah, the Rise, they can try to make it 3, maybe 4 straight wins. Next 2 games are at Swangard, where they will be playing. Let's see here. They will be playing Halifax Tides.
And then Montreal Roses. Montreal Roses, man, what are they doing this season? They found the secret ingredient. Was that Lisa Pechersky?
Yeah, former Rise player herself. And should also mention that the Wednesday game against Montreal will be a Bark in the Park game. So bring your dog to Swangard and enjoy some football and some Rise news regarding a sponsor.
Yeah. They have a brand new front of shirt sponsor just announced today. It'll be National Bank.
Yep.
That will be doing those shirts. If you're looking at getting new shirts, are available as of today, and then that is going to be carrying forward. You know what? It's good. It's one of those things that again separates the Rise as their own entity apart from the Whitecaps in terms of front of shirt sponsor and kind of paving their own way. Also, I don't believe National Bank has ever been at least a visible sponsor of soccer in Canada. So this is, again, bringing
a lot of revenue.
Well, it's bringing another corporate entity into the soccer world, which, I mean, in terms of sponsorship.
Yeah, National Bank is one of the largest financial institutions in the country. So that's a big name to get.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you want National Bank on your shirt, you can buy it on the Rise website, and I think they'll be available at Sport Check sooner or later.
Yeah.
All right. So the World Cup. Before that, actually, talk about Canada first. They remain 30th in the FIFA men's rankings, same as before the World Cup, which is really a surprise.
The big thing was the game against Bosnia. If you would have won that game, that would have changed the standings. But because you didn't win that.
If they had won the group, I think that would also change things.
Absolutely. Now, being that they finished 30th in the FIFA men's rankings right now, in terms of the World Cup in general, Canada ranked 14th overall in what the actual standings of World Cup teams. So you got to think 48 teams in this World Cup, 14, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. And Canada will be playing 2 friendlies in the September-October window. Chile at BMO Field. Chile is a team that's really fallen off the past decade. Remember Alexis Sanchez, Arturo Vidal? I cannot name you a single Chilean player right now.
Honestly, I couldn't either as well. The only thing I know about Chile right now is their team, I believe it's in Chile, Colo-Colo.
Yeah, Colo-Colo.
Is in talks to sign the Cabo Verde goalkeeper, Vozinha.
Yeah. I believe, was that where Pedro Morales played? I can't remember.
I want to say...
Wait, let me take a look.
Or no, Octavio Rivero?
Or Rivero.
I think it was Rivero.
No, Morales did play there. After
okay, there you go.
1 year, though. But yeah, Chile, they're not the team that... Remember, this team a decade ago won Copa America.
I know.
Now they can't even qualify for the World Cup.
They're ranked 49th right now. In the last rankings, they actually increased 2 spots. But yeah, they're ranked 49th right now. And then Canada will be playing also at Stade Saputo on October 3rd. Peru, who's ranked right behind them at 50.
Yeah, and potentially, I don't know if he'll recover in time. I don't remember what the exact timeline was, but if he does, Genji Cabrera could possibly face Canada.
Playing that game. I want Canada to test themselves. Obviously, that means you want to play teams that are higher than you in the rankings. But I'm okay with playing these 2 teams from South America, especially as the relationship between CONCACAF and CONMEBOL gets a lot closer. You have more teams playing in Copa America. And also just needing that experience, that continual experience of playing teams that are going to, use those dark arts.
Yeah.
So I'm not against this. it's going to be worthy opposition to play against.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously there are other windows to play higher opposition. And for those wondering why, like, oh, why isn't this game in Vancouver? There are other events at BC Place around that time, I believe.
Yeah, BC Place is a difficult venue to book on short notice.
Yeah, I believe there's a Lions game or a concert or both.
It's a multi-use facility where BMO Field and Stade Saputo
are soccer specific.
Or in the terms of BMO Field, like don't they? I want to say the Argonauts play there.
Something,
don't they?
Like that?
Or they yeah. But anyway, they're not really venues for concerts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's Canada Super 60 cricket. Whitecaps playing their Lions game, Foo Fighters around that time.
Cool.
So yeah, the World Cup final last Sunday. Spain gets their second star, first win since 2010 with a 1-0 extra time win over Argentina. Spain dominated, could have blown Argentina out of the water, not for Emi Martinez and his saves.
Emi Martinez was man of the match.
Yeah, Argentina.
And that hurts me to say because personality-wise, I'm not a fan of him.
A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't like Argentina, which we'll talk about momentarily.
Yeah.
Argentina only had 2 shots in the game, none on target.
And those 2 shots didn't come until
like extra time.
It was in extra time. It was in the second half of extra time when they actually finally got shots. No team has gone a full 90 minutes without a single shot.
Yeah.
Except, now in the World Cup.
One of those was a clear chance by Simeone, Diego's son, John Luigi, I believe his name is, who just blasted it over the bar.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi was kept quiet. So was Julian Alvarez and the rest of the Argentinian attack. Ferran Torres scored the winner. Great play by Nico Williams to keep the ball. And Torres blasted it past Emi Martinez and won it for his country like Iniesta did in extra time in 2010. It also helped that Enzo Fernandez took 2 yellow cards that were really stupid. First was for simulation.
Yeah.
Second one, he tried to just jump and I don't know what it was, like a WWE style jump and push on Kubarsi.
It was the beginning of the team in general losing their heads.
Yeah, because Spain frustrated them.
Yeah. You know what? Before this tournament began, like I said, I had picked France to be the winners. I don't know why, but I did not rate this Spanish team as high. And hindsight, I absolutely should have, because you take a look at this entire tournament, 1 goal against them in the game against Belgium throughout the entire tournament. That is a record. And they beat their previous record in, I think it was in the 2010 when they only allowed 2 goals. This is a team that has great players. They might not be the absolute be-all, end-all stars on their team, but man, when you put them together, do they play? Ozreal is a guy that I think is going to have a lot of people looking at them. Ferran Torres, for obvious reasons. Was it Moreno?
Yeah, Mikel Moreno of Arsenal.
The him coming in on 2 different matches and getting the late goals. Elevated his hero status, I think, as well throughout this tournament. But in this game in particular, there was only 1 team that came in with a plan to win.
Yeah, Spain.
And that was Spain.
Tiki-taka, possession, press, defensive structure. And props to their coach.
Yeah.
Luca, what's his name? De La Fuente? Something like that. Oh, what a coach. Spain has only lost, once or twice since 2022?
You go back. Spain, I was reading this. They are undefeated in, I think it's 34 games. However, you have to go, I think it was the Nations League, UEFA Nations League, where they lost the final to Portugal. But because that was on penalties, statistically it counts as a draw.
So their last loss was in the 2022 World Cup against Japan.
Yeah.
And that's famous.
That's how far you have to go back. You have to go back to the last World Cup.
Yeah, and they've won the Euros, and they've won the World Cup, and are probably the favorites to win the next Euros.
Yeah. And the thing is their team is either in their prime or young, right?
This is the new golden generation.
They're poised to keep going for the next 4-year cycle.
Yeah, I mean, Yamal is only 19, and he'll be 23 in the next World Cup.
Yeah,
which is
I mean, he's what Kylian Mbappe was when France won it when he was 19.
Yeah, though Yamal didn't have the best tournament, but the best young player award went to a defender, Pau Cubarsí, who's only 20 years old.
I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that phenomenal. Because the Spanish defense deserved this recognition. Yes, it only goes to one player, but I look at this as almost for the entire back line.
Yeah, I mean, Garcia, Llorente as def, Pedro Porro, your guy from Spurs, and my guy, Marc Cucurella. I mean, the way Cucurella was moving the ball, he almost scored himself in the final, too.
Spurs have now had a player on the winning World Cup side in the last 3 World Cups. There's no other Premier League team that can say that.
Yeah, Romero for Argentina.
Yeah.
And then Lloris.
Hugo Lloris, who captained France.
Cucurella is not a Chelsea player anymore, but FIFA lists him as a Chelsea player because he hasn't officially played for Real Madrid yet.
Which is funny, right? I think it was also to do with that. So hey, you got someone on the team. Cucurella did phenomenal in this tournament.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss that guy at Chelsea.
I really liked how he got up the pitch and was an offensive danger. This player way better than I do. It's not a guy that I see day in, day out, but he was, again, he reminds me, he's like a left-sided Pedro Porro.
Exactly. That's what he is.
Right? And Porro is a guy that can sometimes have defensive lapses, but he really shone in this tournament.
Yeah. Cucurella used to, but he's changed. Remember, he was the scapegoat at Chelsea a few years ago. Now he's one of the best left backs in the world. Rodri, player of the tournament. Gotta love a defensive midfielder getting the recognition.
You gotta love a guy who, with the hardship that he's gone through with injury, and you never wondered if he was even going to be able to come back, let alone play football, but really walk properly again. To go from Ballon d'Or to the massive injury that he had, to go here and become player. You got player of the tournament, Golden Ball, phenomenal to him. Kylian Mbappe does win the Golden Boot. He also has the record for the most goals ever in World Cups, one more than Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
So he, like I said, when Lionel Messi got that record, I said, hold your horses. He's not going to have it all that long.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Most likely Messi's last World Cup. So
we'll have to wait and see. Did you hear about, what was it? The new coach, was it Bilic, that just took over Croatia? Yeah. And he's trying to convince Luka Modric to stay in the Croatian national team. I don't know about that.
He's like 40 now.
The guy's 40.
Messi will be 43 for the next World Cup.
Let him rest. Let him rest. He's done his job.
Yeah, like Messi, Ronaldo, Modric,
Neymar.
Slaven
Bilic, who took over from Croatia.
Yeah, those 4 last World Cups, most likely. Well, definitely Ronaldo's.
There's a number of big names. This is the World Cup for the last time you'll see big names competing for their national sides. And you're right. Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric, and I think Lionel Messi, although it hasn't been said yet, it feels like
his contract at Inter Miami is up in 2028, I believe. So I think that'll be the end of it. And he did confirm Inter Miami will be his last club.
There you go.
So, the World Cup, there was not without other stuff like the halftime show, which I thought was okay, but never again. Never again.
I've never watched a halftime show of any sporting event. That didn't change. And from what I've heard, I did not miss much.
Yeah, you didn't really miss much. I was at the fan fest, so I had to.
Well, here's the thing. By FIFA regulations, half times can only be 15 minutes.
And
that's for player safety, because the fact is anything longer than that, and then you now have to bring in additional equipment to keep players warm in order to go and play that second half. FIFA had said this will not take more than 20 minutes. It took over 27.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't want this Americanization of football. Never again.
No, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a little bit, because I will say this: the halftime show was never for me or you. It was never for people who were already going to be watching this game regardless. The halftime show was an attempt to bring in new fans who love the spectacle, and hopefully stick around for the game.
That's what
that was the purpose of the halftime show.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be a success is going to be dictated in the numbers of did you make new fans?
Yeah.
Wayne it's going to be a difficult thing to say. It's going to be a difficult thing to measure. But I will say the halftime show was never meant for me or you.
So. It was never meant for a football fan.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney said it best. It was crap.
Yeah. I loved what he said. He's like, I love the artists. The halftime show was crap. And I was like,
yeah, I mean,
that's perfect. That's exactly.
I mean, if it's before the game, like the opening ceremony, which for some reason had Tom Cruise talking and ISO Speed performing, that's okay because it's before the game.
Yeah. And that's always going to happen. I mean, you can compare that to
Champions
Olympics or any other thing. There's always something that happens before the game, and that's different. You don't have player safety to worry about at that point.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed Tom Cruise didn't jump off MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, Mission Impossible style.
With came in with a
motorcycle coming out. Yeah,
that's what he did at the Olympics in Paris.
You're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and of course, President Donald Trump tried to make it about himself during the trophy lift, where he tried to stay in the shot, like what he did with Chelsea in the Club World Cup final last year. At least he wasn't next to Rodri, but he was.
Yeah, tried to stay in the shot. Infantino actually had to drag him off the stage, and he was still in the photos, and they had to airbrush him out of the photos.
Yeah, just like last year.
Yeah,
Chelsea. Of course, he had to make it about himself.
Are we surprised? You had 3 national leaders on that stage. 2 of them bowed out gracefully. One, this is no surprise.
Yeah, Mark Carney and Claudia Sheinbaum were there. No, and I kind of wish they both went up to Trump and dragged him off. That would have been something.
Yeah, it's not like it could have hurt anything more, right? The legacy of this World Cup. Now, I know a lot of people talk about the records set in terms of attendances and all that. I'm like, that should not be a part of this equation. You had the most number of teams in this World Cup in history. It was the biggest World Cup in history in terms of participation. If you had only met what previous World Cups had done, that's a failure. You had more games. You should have more fans. I don't understand how people don't communicate that.
Well, they did. It was like
that's it's just mindlessly dumb not to say that. The one thing I will say, and I think it's the one thing that we forget about every time you have an international competition like this as well. What dictates a success isn't the money, it isn't the numbers, it's the fan experience in terms of how they interact with other fans. And I will say that was a success.
Big success. Each city had their own fan fest, fan zone. Fans were interacting with each other from different countries. Like, we got more new football fans, so I see on social media want to try club football.
Yeah, that's the one thing I thought that was really interesting is the number of people from either Canada, the United States, and Mexico. I will say to a lesser extent Mexico, because football is just massive in Mexico to begin with. But of people saying, I love this, who can I support now as my team? And of course you get like the soccer purists that are like, you have a local team, you support them. I'm like,
you can.
Fan culture is a little bit different here. That's not going to change. You know, give them some options of around, right? So that's cool. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and I don't know for other cities, but here in Vancouver, we talked about a couple of weeks ago how successful it's been with the Fan Fest, with downtown and Granville Street. BC Place was used really well. And here in Canada, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, announced a $1 million investment in sports, which obviously includes soccer. So I believe in a lot of American states, there will be more like participate in soccer, more grassroots investment in all that. Though America and Canada has that pay-to-play thing.
Yeah, which definitely always hurts in terms of...
So I know here in Canada we have like Jumpstart, Kickstart, whatever it's called, where less fortunate kids get an opportunity.
Yeah, but that's through Canadian Tire. That's not a government thing.
Yeah, that's Canadian Tire, though.
Right? Which, don't get me wrong, I'm happy that it exists, But the fact that you need corporations to step in where governments should already be, kind of sucks. The one thing I will say is that this was also, I think, really, really good for the Save the Caps movement. Vancouver has repeatedly been on almost every single list as the number one host city and host city experience. You've heard it from fans. You've heard it from out-of-town fans. You've heard it from coaches. You've heard it from players. Vancouver tops that list.
Yeah. And it would be a tragedy to lose the Caps. And as mentioned, the Save the Caps movement and the World Cup have put a little boost in the negotiations.
It has, and I think it's given people like, say, Victor Montagliani a lot of added support to try and get this.
Yeah, he's really pulling the strings behind the scenes.
And good on him.
His power.
Good on him. This is a guy who's head of CONCACAF. This is a guy that, if it wasn't for Infantino trying to hold on for dear life to the reins of the presidency, someone like Montagliani would be running for that presidency of FIFA.
And remember, he was on Sir Carson Price and was very adamant that team isn't going anywhere.
He's been a guy who's been in those meetings.
Yeah, he's pulling the strings.
How often does that happen when the president of your confederation is fighting so hard to keep a team? I mean, you wouldn't see this in UEFA if, say, I don't know, a team there was having problems. It doesn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong. Victor Montagliani is from Vancouver.
Yeah.
He's fighting for his home club. And you know what? If you get to use that privilege in this case, I don't have a problem with it. I hope that he would do it for other teams. Don't get me wrong. But I'm happy that
he never forgot his roots. We'll say that.
Yeah. This is a guy that's come through Canada Soccer and through BC Soccer.
Yeah. And overall, it was a successful tournament here in North America. And of course, Argentina were sore losers after the game, as you saw, trying to fight Spain after the final whistle.
There is an independent commission that's been set up to investigate everything that's been going on with the outcome. Now, the thing is Argentina was already being investigated by an independent commission for the sign that they held up after the semifinals against England, the sign that they held up against that showed, Argentina owns the Falkland Islands. I can't, off the top of my head, remember the name that Argentina has. I know it starts with an M. Now, this previously happened in a friendly that Argentina played. Was it Slovenia? Where they held up a sign and the organization was fined 20,000, I'm guessing euros, being that the currency of FIFA. So I don't know if you're going to get something comparable when it comes to that. But now that you add on top of this, all the stuff that happened in the aftermath of the World Cup final, you're going to see added fines not only for the federation, but there's going to be stuff happening to players as well.
Yeah. And there's been also a petition by...
There's been two petitions, and these are what is funny. There's a fan in Argentina that started a petition to have the World Cup final replayed, citing massive bias from the referee against Argentina. I'm sorry, but you didn't have a single shot. Calm yourself.
I thought the Nico Williams goal should have counted.
Now the thing is this has about 60,000 people that are signed up to it. There is a second petition, and this one is started to ban Argentina permanently from all future World Cups. Now this petition is very close to breaking the Guinness Book World Record for most people to have signed a petition. Right now, there is over 23.3 million signatures. One petition has 60,000. This one has 23.3 million signatures, representing people from over 170 countries. The record for most people to have signed a petition is 1 million more than this, 24.3. This will, in all likelihood, become the most signed petition in Guinness, at least tracked by Guinness Book. Now, neither of these are going to do anything, but the massive disparity in the amount of signatures is monumentally hilarious to me.
Yeah, and also, I don't think the first petition, I'm pretty sure majority of these people signing them are not Argentinian. Let's just put it that way.
The one
With 60K. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea. My guess is that on both of these petitions, half of them are bots.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
the
way
world.
it is.
Gonna miss the World Cup because it was a fun tournament.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait another 4 years. That'll be in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco.
Hey, guess what else was happening over all this? An off season. Should we just
Yeah,
run by quickly?
let's go over to Europe, and it seems Chelsea are cooking, and Xabi Alonso is pulling the strings. So David Ornstein dropped an absolute bomb a few days ago, where he tweeted that Chelsea signed Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa for 117 million Great British pounds, which is pretty much the British record, though I think Isak kind of still has it, and hijacked Arsenal. It seemed inevitable that Rodgers would go to Arsenal for like 100 million or something like that. But one phone call with Xabi Alonso changed everything. Rodgers changed his mind and signed for Chelsea, which great signing. It's what Chelsea need for that left side. Can play as a 10, as a left winger. He's creative. He can score goals.
And it's a great signing, but I will argue the same thing like I said with Tottenham and Tonali. It's a great signing, but it's an overpay.
Massive overpay.
Massive overpay.
I don't think Rodgers is worth more than 80 million.
Isn't that what Spurs were going to pay for him when they had when they were trying to sign him last season?
Maybe. But time will tell to see if he was worth the money or not. He gets to play with his best buddy Cole Palmer. Both have the Cole celebration. Both grew up together. Big signing, great signing. One of the signings of the window. Well done to Xabi Alonso for convincing him. Also, going back the other way to Aston Villa is Alejandro Garnacho. He's gone. He's loaned to Aston Villa with an obligation to buy. Should he meet the requirements, which are appearances, he will go for 42.7 million. Obviously, Garnacho was never supposed to be at Chelsea. Nobody wanted him outside of the morons on Chelsea Twitter. This was doomed to fail. And I guess if there is one success from Garnacho is that he never sulked or showed off his attitude for Man United. Well, believable player, stoppable on his day. Glad he's gone. Good riddance. And it seems Axel Disasi and Benoit Badiashile are next as they're linked to Serie A clubs. And Trevor Chalobah seems to be heading to join Cesc Fabregas's Como. So that it seems like the Deadwood are leaving, but not Tosin, who apparently has suitors, but Xabi Alonso wants to keep this guy. Maybe for leadership. Hope he just plays the cup games. That's it.
Yeah.
And speaking of defenders, it seems inevitable now. Could be any minute that Maxence Lacroix from Crystal Palace could sign for Chelsea. Just a matter of agreeing on a fee. Palace value him at 55 million. That's reasonable. You could even do 60. Might as well get it done. It's what they need on the back line. It's inevitable. And Fabrizio Romano has also said that Chelsea have the funds to make a splash on another midfielder. Who could that be? Who knows? Could it be Bruno Guimaraes, who's linked to Arsenal? It would be funny if they hijack another deal from Arsenal. Adam Wharton to Crystal Palace. Eduardo Camavinga, Real Madrid. Manu Kone, Roma, and many other names. Who knows? Who could this be? It feels like another bomb could drop from Ornstein one of these days that Chelsea has signed a certain midfielder.
Isn't Chelsea one of those teams that's also in danger of overspending?
Yeah, but
them and Aston Villa have had. They need to look and start balancing those books.
Yeah, that's why Chelsea are selling players like crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why Garnacho was sent to Aston Villa almost as an exchange. And that could also mean Enzo Fernandez's future.
It was also sent with a sign that said good riddance.
Yeah. Would also balance the books if he leaves, though after his stupid World Cup final appearance, I don't know if anyone really wants him now.
Well, you got to wonder. He's a great player, but the other extracurriculars and then now the optics of what the player might do in terms of outside the pitch, does that damage any potential transfer fee.
It does. Real Madrid have publicly said they're not signing him.
Or they want something that's sub 100 million now.
No one's gonna pay 100 million for him.
No, I don't think so.
So I don't know. Like, it seems like he's staying. Xabi Alonso wants to keep him. I don't like if Man City sell Rodri, maybe he goes there. I don't think he's going to PSG. I don't think PSG want him. He's been linked to Atletico Madrid, but nothing really concrete. So we'll see what happens with Enzo Fernandez over the next few weeks. But I think if I put money on it, he's staying. And even though a new midfielder is coming in. So I guess we're stuck with a guy that doesn't want to be at Chelsea. But if he really doesn't want to be there, you might as well just force a move. So that's Chelsea.
We'll get to what happens if a player tries to force a move a little bit later. I got a story for you.
Yeah. So that's Chelsea spending money. So are Spurs spending
money.
Yeah,
I mean, we talked about it a little bit before the World Cup got on, that Spurs started very, very early in terms of some big signings for the club, breaking also their transfer fee record. So obviously, tons of signings so far. We talked about Fernandez. We talked about Tonali. We talked about Van Hecke. We talked about Robertson and Senesi and Dubravka. All gone very, very well. It looks like they were looking at Rafael Leao as possibly that left winger to sign. It looks like Leao is available for about 60 million, I want to say pounds.
Yeah, he wants to leave AC Milan.
He does, but it does seem like with Spurs looking at him or Savinho with Man City, they do still seem to be looking at Savinho.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like them to go after Leao, but if that's what their heart is set on, and their heart has been set on Savinho for well over a year, how hard they tried to bring him in last season. Now the thing is it could be just that Savinho needs a different stage because he wasn't really given much of a chance in this last season to show what he is capable of. And he wasn't capable of much. He had one assist the entire season.
Yeah.
If a new stage, a new opportunity can kind of unlock this player, I hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. On other news, James Maddison has been named the new captain of the club. Good name, good one. I know a few people wanted Tonali to be named the new captain. I'm happy that it wasn't him. I'm sorry, but you can't come into a brand new club and all of a sudden be given the leadership. I hate it when teams do that. I'm happy it's Maddison. They played their first preseason match yesterday, a 1-0 win against MK Dons. Fernandez got his first goal of the club. He actually called it the most important goal that he's gotten in his career so far. It was in the 3rd minute. Spurs, again, a match they rightfully dominated. They had about 70% of possession of the ball. We're seeing Fernandez and Tonali working as that kind of defensive midfield kind of double pivot. Looked really well. Dubravka was in net. Apparently was surprising in one of his saves. They said was really phenomenal. I don't think Dubravka is going to be the starter. I really do think that it is meant to be Kinski. That's the guy that they're going to be. And I'm very happy about that. Forget the game against Atletico Madrid. That was a bad situation. Everything that he did since that game showed that this is a guy who deserves a shot at being the starting goalkeeper. So I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon. Spurs, one of several clubs looking at Marcus Rashford. Chelsea is another one of those clubs.
I don't think. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Now we got Rodgers.
We'll have to wait and see. Manchester United are looking at ways to reintegrate Rashford. They are willing to sell, but not to another English club. If they're going to sell Rashford, it's not going to be within the Premier League. So I don't see that as really being a thing that will happen. But they're also looking at another guy to be at the top of the line, and that is Kolo Muani.
Who was just on loan with them.
A guy who they just had on loan, a guy that they let go because they didn't want to pay the potential buyout clause, but they are looking at the possibility of getting him for cheaper. They are having to fight with Juventus, another club that is also looking at him. I don't really get it unless De Zerbi thinks that he can get something out of this player that wasn't shown in all of last season. But I don't know. I don't get it. We'll have to wait and see. Cristiano Romero, we know, is on his way out. His time with Spurs is done.
Yep.
It seems to be the right decision for club and player at this point. I'm happy for what Romero gave to Spurs during his time, but a new chance seems to be right. Inter Milan seems to be leading the charge, the most likely of clubs to sign him, but Barcelona is still in the mix.
Yeah, Chelsea were linked to him too, which is weird.
I hadn't heard that. That is surprising. It kind of feels like Inter Milan is where it's going to be going.
It's either Spain or Italy for
yeah.
Me. I don't think
Pedro Porro, only a few months ago, signed an extension with Spurs, but because of how well Spain did and how well Porro did with the World Cup, there have been a lot of people looking at him. Real Madrid, other big name clubs. Now, Pedro Porro has gone one step beyond that and talked to his agent and made it public that he has talked to his agent and told his agent to deny any offer looking for him, that he is committed to Spurs. He has signed for Spurs. He is going nowhere. I am very happy about that. I am happy that the player has tried to kind of nip this in the bud and just say, no, I've already made my commitments to this team. We're going nowhere. Just don't even consider it. It's not happening. Very happy to hear that news. You love it when a player has big names looking at him and he just says, no, I am where I am supposed to be. So very, very happy. Spurs are definitely not done. They have a lot of money that they can still spend. They've already spent a lot. They could spend up to more than 200 million more pounds. There are other clubs out there, Aston Villa, who are very angry that Spurs have so much money available to them. A lot of that has to do with the fact of all this other non-sport activities that they're able to bring into Tottenham Hotspur away, like I already alluded to before. The added revenue that they've been getting from that just allows them to spend more because of the way that ratio works. Because other teams don't necessarily have that in their stadiums, they're angry that Spurs do have it. I would say build a stadium. It might cost you almost exiting the Premier League 2 years in a row, but if you want to be able to have that extra money, build your stadium in a way that it can
get revenue.
That it can have that. Look what Everton has done. Everton over the next 5 years is going to be a very interesting team to watch. You can do it as well if you want to take that risk. And don't get me wrong, it is a risk. Look what's happened to Spurs over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
Yeah, here we are.
Nearly got relegated 2 years in a row. They said never again. Let's spend some money.
And they have gone out and spent money. And they're not doing it willy-nilly like they did with the Gareth Bale money. They're spending money on players that they actually want and need.
Yeah.
Van Hecke, I'm happy. Senesi, I'm happy. Tonali, I'm happy. Fernandez, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Get me a left winger. Get me a striker. Here we go.
Yeah. All right. So other news. Zinedine Zidane is expected to be announced as the France head coach momentarily. It was inevitable. It felt like he was inevitable for this job for years.
This has been coming for years. We all knew that this was the swan song of
Didier Deschamps.
Of Didier Deschamps with the French national team. He has been there. He is part of the furniture. Even him not being head coach, he is in all likelihood going to have some sort of job if he wants it with the French Football Federation. Zidane has been waiting for this. So let's get it done. This has been waiting in the wings like Germany and Klopp.
Yeah, which is
It's,
happening.
it's happening. Just announce it. Anthony Taylor has retired
from refereeing after 20
refereeing.
years, and every Chelsea fan has celebrated like they won the league. Because good riddance.
You know what? It's been interesting to hear him talk about the toll that this has, especially like after Mourinho kind of confronted him in the parking lot after that one game, the abuse that his family took when he was going to the airport after that one match. I get it, and I understand totally Chelsea fans and things like that, but you have to remember that these guys are human as well, and you can't go after. You can be angry at the man in the profession. Don't go after
the man himself.
Yeah, stay away from.
He was a terrible referee, but as a person, I wish him all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I promised you a story about
this is just
players
wild.
behaving badly. So, Wolves striker Tolo Akudare forced the cancellation of Wolves training a few days ago because he went into training as everyone was getting ready to go, went to the middle of the pitch, sat down, refused to move, and demanded a transfer to Fiorentina.
What are you, 3 years old? You're a grown man.
This was a temper tantrum of utmost degree. Now, Wolves have accepted an offer from Turkish club Trabzonspor because it was better for them than what Fiorentina was offering. Don't get me wrong, Fiorentina, top club in Italy. I understand why a player would want to go there, but you handle it by throwing a temper tantrum, by sitting in the middle of pitch and hurting all of your other teammates. I'm sorry, but you deserve to be playing in the depths, 5th division of Albania. By this,
you deserve to play in Kazakhstan or something.
Yeah, like this is not how you handle it.
This guy's 25 years old.
I hope that Wolves finds this player to the maximum extent that they can. And I'm sorry, but you think Fiorentina wants to look at you now after this?
Or any team? Deserves to rot with the reserves.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is not how you force a transfer.
Do it quietly, not like this.
Sebastian Berhalter with the Whitecaps. We knew what was waiting in the wings with any sort of transfer. We knew that the Whitecaps really wanted him to stay and tried. Berhalter played every single game up and until his move. And he played it at an MVP level. This guy is sitting in the middle of the pitch and deciding to throw his poop.
Yeah, at least Berhalter never forced anything. He just waited for offers and took one. And then said goodbye.
This is not how you do it. And I'm sorry, but you have a contract. Yeah. You signed that contract in good faith.
Yeah, he joined them last year, as I'm reading.
You can put in a transfer request. You can voice your displeasure at not getting your chosen move, but you don't hurt your team like this.
Apparently, security was increased to prevent the player from entering the training ground.
Well, now, yeah, because you know what he's going to do.
Yeah, 25 years old and acting like a 2-year-old.
Yep. So,
even a 2-year-old wouldn't do this in some cases.
Yeah. But, you wanted a story of men behaving badly. Here you go.
Yeah, not the way to do it. So that concludes this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Yeah, sorry, no video live stream, but I will try to get this on our YouTube channel fully.
Yeah.
But thank you to everyone listening and all that. We'll try to go live. I'm going to talk to the Spark guys on how to do that. Forgot to do that. So kind of
bear with us. It's something new. It's growing pains. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll obviously check out our writing for Air 51 Sports Network as we're still there. But also check out the other Sparks Network podcast, Hockey Podcast Network also, if you're interested. We'll be back next week talking more things Whitecaps and other soccer stuff. So follow me on Twitter, Joshua00, Nathan and Dirk, podcast Terminal City FC. We're also on Instagram, Blue Sky. The podcast is on those platforms and our YouTube channel. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.